folks. Thank you so much for coming and for being here. My name is Emiliano Void. I'm part of the team that have put this whole thing together. I have to thank a long list of folks, a lot of which are in this room. If it wasn't for these people, there is no way in the world we would have been able to put this thing together. So I'm gonna just paint it all in broad strokes. If you had any part to play in putting together the Black experience, from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you enough. From sponsors to volunteers, folks in the community, everybody has leaned in and really wrapped their arms around this thing to make it come together. None of it moves without you. Performers, panelists, I don't know if you know, but we got the icon Angela Davis in the building. That's not bad, right? That's not bad. When we started putting this thing together, must have been 8 months ago, 10 months ago, sat at the Crew Cafe right at the top of Church Street. I was hanging out with my big homie Rajnii. Anybody know Rajnii in the building? Yeah, Raj. Yeah, Raj. We were sitting down thinking, man, I don't know if it makes a lot of sense for a community that thrives in the spaces that we occupy to be recognized, elevated, celebrated, and represented one day a year. We didn't think it made sense. Not in the month of February, not in the month of June. We thought there was a real need for us to be able to see ourselves reflected, see ourselves uplifted, see ourselves represented in this community. So we started real quick. I said, Raj, what you think, man? I said, we think if we really put our heads together, we could bring some folks together, pack places full of Black folks, celebrate our local community, show everybody what it is that we do here when we do what we do. He said, hell yeah, why not? I said, okay, let's figure it out. From there, things move very, very quickly, and the entire objective of this thing is to create connectivity between the different Black communities that live here. We are less than 2% of the demographic that lives here. Vermont is the second whitest state in the country. In order to find community, you have to intentionally build community. We wanted to build that with the Black experience. All that to say, one of the real big things for us that was a real guiding principle, as soon as we landed Dr. Davis, she said, I can no longer accept the things that I cannot change, and I have to change the things I can no longer accept. We could no longer accept to see ourselves as fringe populations and demographics here that are an afterthought to the majority group that lives here. We could no longer accept that it was on anybody else's time and calendar the way that we wanted to represent and celebrate ourselves. And we could no longer accept the time that it was taking for things to really move. We're not special people. The folks that put this together are not special people. We're not members of government. We're not parts of large multi-million-dollar organizations. We're folks just like everybody else sitting in their seats right now. We're people in the community that wanted to build community, and we committed ourselves to the work. We have performers from all over Vermont that are gonna be here today. We have community organizations features that are from all parts of the state. And we got some worldwide talent on the stage today because we thought we deserve it. We feel like the community deserves it. So I hope in what it is that we do today, y'all see yourself reflected, you see yourself celebrated, and hopefully you see yourself represented. I'm gonna ask 3 quick questions. Is Vermont in the building? That's a pass. Is Burlington in the building? Most importantly, are my Black and brown people in the building? Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, I hope you folks enjoy what it is that we put together today. We hope it covers and you see yourself represented and reflected and celebrated in the work that we're doing. I'm gonna hand it off to our hostess with the mostest, Miss Jersey Mulan. Please help me welcome her to the stage.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now.
took all the words out my mouth.
You said them all yesterday.
I did. We had an amazing time. It was black on black on black. Listen. Y'all not hype enough for me. And I know I'm new to the community, but we outside. I just need everybody to say that with me on the count of 3. We outside. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. So listen, I am Jersey. Some of you know me as Casey. I am the event planner for the Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Department. It has been a pleasure to partner with New Wave and Emiliano to bring you guys the Black experience. We both just a second ago was talking about the tears that we actually shed today. Like we both had a moment where it was just very overwhelming to us because it's important to understand one another's lived experiences. And I live in Atlanta. That's a Black Mecca. And last night I was blessed with the opportunity to provide a space where we were the majority, in a space where my people are not used to being the majority. And so I just want to say thank you for being such strongholds in your community and for allowing people like me in, allowing people like Emiliano in for us to bring you just some foundational core pieces to the community. So before we get started, you ready? Yeah. We gonna turn up. I need everybody to get up out their seat real quick. What you got for me, DJ? And if you don't know, what's up, cousins? Put your hands up. I'm a host in real life, so y'all know we gonna party in here tonight. Put your hands up. Giving what you're getting, knowing what I know in, while my playing sweating, in the rhythm that I'm rolling. Gotta give us what we want. How we used to do it? Gotta give us what we need. Side to side. Hey. Freedom of speech, it's freedom of death. That's right. Welcome to your first annual Juneteenth, a love story. We bring you the Black experience. That's right. Get up out your seat. We gon' have a good time. We gon' fill these aisles. We gon' turn up. We got poetry, live performers. We got DJ Queen Sheba. Y'all ready? Hey. Thank you, DJ. You ready? Y'all have a seat. Cause I'm gonna tell y'all something. I host parties. I enjoy doing events, but I host parties. Like, I have y'all in here sweating y'all hair out. And for the Black people, that's not always a good thing. Because I don't know about y'all, but I pressed mine back out this morning because that rain was not friendly. I'm just saying. Oh, y'all got protective styles. Y'all safe. Y'all got protective styles. Y'all safe. Not me. All right, so listen, I'm excited, extremely. I love that y'all think I'm funny. This is gonna be great. I'm changing my profession. I want you guys to give it up and make some noise for this phenomenal, humble, heartfelt individual, Rajnii Eddins.
All right, y'all. I testified, my mama cried, Black people died when the other man lied. How you doing, my people? Yes, indeed. It is such a blessing to be here with y'all. I'm gonna share one piece because I think it's a fitting one because it speaks to our value and how we gotta honor that. So some of y'all may have heard it before. If you know it, teach the others. Let me hear you say, beautiful sun-kissed people. Walking miracles, unfolding parables, ancient scrolls and ocean's throes. Love be a rose adorning your ears. This morning will not bring mourning, nor a thorn in tears. This forever moment is shorn of fears. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. We are on the cusp of overthrowing overseers, light years beyond heckles and jeers. No more tanning our hides while Dr. Jekyll steers. This love is sheer, transparent and near, as dear as your closest relative here. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. No conversation on us being equal. Just entertaining the thought is evil. We weave full, fully woven, lost and found, traded and stolen, but look what the eye beholding. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. Golden, black and free and ebony, mahogany and mocha bee, chocolate Haagen-Dazs can't see. Rivers running melanin, shallow men be monitoring, but Most High got it all intents and purposes in sovereign skin. Watch as this here poem ascends, journeying and frolicking. Summer breeze is talking with the autumn wind, how winter just won't break our stride. Too much spring in step for us to hide. Our victory is justified. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. Soul arise with older ties. Our currency ain't tokenized. We close to those focused and wise whose feet arise on open skies. We white supremacy eulogizing, blessed ministry new horizon, and desperate attempts at euphemizing our brilliance to futile lies still will never neutralize. Too many youth been euthanized, fed sweet as prey to tooth decay, but truthfully our rueful way has truth to say. Adorns the night, salutes the day, in beauty that the stars obey. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. I relate to you so musically, and oh, the joy it brings, like, lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Let earth and heaven ring in sacred oath, 'cause after all, we are betrothed to wondrous wonders of untold, great grand good fortune that broke the mold. Can't buy us off with moldy bread. We've more than crumbs inside our heads, and crust just will not satisfy when banquets alone are ours divine. We walk in gourmet grandma made, deliciousness in every shade. Say, sun-kissed people. Say, beautiful, blessed, bountiful, sun-kissed people. All right. I praise the path that plants our flag squarely in earth, a self-made baskin, a glorious newfound approach that predators cannot encroach, that parasites and wayward folks at a mere glimpse will cough and choke. See, this radiance is brighter still than every sun that lights a hill. It calls from something deep within and pours from vocal cords and pen. Say, beautiful sun-kissed people. I'm nourished just to see you. You furnish my living room with life-abundant killing gloom. You water every plant I have and flourish my gardens green and vast. Sing lullabies to my inner child and soothe all fears of foul defile. You spray me with your sense of grace and lovingly embrace my face. Say, I am you and we are race that founded every human trace. Say, sun-kissed people. I wake with your poems on my tongue. In my chest I hear your drum. From my lips I hear your hum. It gets me high and drunk as rum. On you I am forever spun. Your melanin I never shun. With you I am forever one. Has there been better? Never one. Say, sun-kissed people, I bequeath these odes to you, your next of kin and children too, and their children's 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 view will yet still match your vibrant hue. You supernatural sorcery, to walk in temples gorgeously, shaming cathedrals far and near, make a white Christ pale in the mirror. Sun-kissed children, you are it. Don't let nobody tell you shit, unless they fertilize in soil to grow a rose regal and royal, to don a rose upon a rose of red and black and green and gold, so poetically bestowed it dignifies your inner throne. Sun-kissed children, marvelous, miraculous magnificence, outlandishly so unabashed, unapologetic sass, ultramagnetic blackness, the right goddess on your epitaph. That's blasphemy, surely, right? Because we know true gods never die. Sun-kissed children, you kiss my eyes with all that sunshine you applying. I say I am in love for true, because you are me and I am you. From head to toe and all between, I love these princes, kings, and queens. I even find you in my dreams, and when I wake I vow to breathe and breathe to vow. With every vowel and consonant I can pronounce, announce to cosmos all your feats, build castles for your sweet retreats, goose-feathered pillows, black satin sheets, a sacred lounge to rest your crown from all them wounds been crying out. Sun-kissed people, have no doubt, you're all I am, what I'm about. Can't tell my story without my page. Every chapter be erased. You sew my lines so seamlessly. We vibe on higher frequency. So let's not love in secrecy. My sun-peace people, we be is the key.
Lift every voice and sing to the heavenly.
Check, check.
With the harmony.
Check, check. Hey, that was beautiful, huh? Yes. Okay, DJ, listen. I like this kumbaya, like, okay. I like that too. I just need all of you guys, like, throughout the program, I need your third eye melanin to be activated so that it touched the person next to you. Because in hindsight, this is a party. This is a jubilee. This is a celebration. So while it's going to be very deep, we outside. Cousins, hello. How you doing? I'm wonderful. There's so many beautiful brown sisters in here. So I'm gonna give y'all a little hindsight, right? The panel discussion is all black women. Your DJ is a black woman. Your host and also your facilitator for the panel is a black woman. And if I don't tell you anything else this evening, ladies, we are the source and core foundational piece to this land. So stay in tune and attuned to your inner being. And the only way to get over this is through in. I love y'all. So listen. Oh, y'all ain't know I could get deep too, right? Y'all thought we was just partying? Oh, okay. You gotta switch it up. Not cold switch. Hold on, DJ, hold on. I wanna be clear. What line should I stand on? Not code switch. Okay? All right. Thank you. Okay? In any room, I'm telling people I'm outside. I just want y'all to know. I sit in a room with directors and I'll be like, yeah, at lunch I'm outside. Jersey, we need you. Yeah, but I'm outside. Let's be clear. Okay, so your next performer, poet, Jolivette Anderson, Douning.
It's hard to stop rebels that time travel. But we at the Time Council pride ourselves on doing just that. Welcome to the Living Museum, where legendary rebels from throughout history have been frozen in suspended animation.
This is a need. This is a need dripping from my tongue like venom injected from a rattler's bite into your flesh. This is a need for all of the intestines that carry the filth and excrement from my body to take inventory of what goes through them and to lash out, rebel, accept the fact that being black is torment and hell until we take control of our own destiny. This is a need. This is a hand in a hand, an old word to a young ear, a mission marching like the keys on the computer pad as I type this need, disguised as a poem, running toward being a song, taking flight toward being an anthem, hanging from a tree like Raynard Johnson as injustice blows still in the winds, around the hills, over the bayou, and dips itself into the hatred stew like a metal ladle coming up to fill the bowl that feeds the intestines its identity. This is a need. This is a need. This need is my frustration, and it's a black woman's womb contracting like the universe on the next go-round. It is a fireless flame reminiscing on two flames fleeting due to AIDS and miseducation about me, myself, and we. This is a dire need to be. This is a dire need to be induced from the womb and spit out into the bastardized world. It is a need to be angry and complaining about something, angry and complaining about something, angry and complaining about something and everything, because this world still don't see me. It still don't see me. It still don't see me as a human being. Being human. This is a need. This is a need to be. This is a need to be free without having to die to get there. Every time salty tears roll down my face, I hear the voice of others singing the same song. Take me home. Give up all that you've ever had or have ever known. Move away from all familiar things, places, and people. You might as well climb a steeple and jump. Wait for the Father to catch you. If he doesn't, then you're thumped out of existence, like the heart of a mistress in love with a man she cannot build with. She put herself in this predicament, or did she? Black women crying make rivers out of streams. Uprooted from my land with breast exposed to evil souls that use my image as something derogatory but slip away from their women to plant seeds inside of me. Black women crying make rivers out of streams. One day before you know, the oceans will overflow and we all will be hopeless, you see. Planted on ships named after Christian deities, treated like an animal, but I'm flesh and blood, same as these that took me. But with the difference, you see, I have a soul that's controlled by the ruler of the universe. I converse with this creator daily, making me adamant in spirituality, something he doesn't understand how I survive. So he teaches my kind to hate themselves and love him forever. Black women crying. 200 million of her children dying. If those souls could reach up from the floor of the ocean with a wave of their hand, they could start a motion of universal clarity. Dying's not a bad thing if you understand what it means and be at peace. Ignorance must cease. If it makes you want to holler, I say scream while black women crying, making rivers out of streams. Oh, she's so strong. She a superwoman. She can handle whatever, don't need no brother to help her. Among my sisters and brothers, this is the greatest myth. Because we had to be strong. We suffer from this messed up philosophy. Black women need generosity. Good morning spoken gently in her ear. Car door open, chair pulled out. Brother say, wait, sister, let me carry that. These are little things, but show much respect. All black men have dreams of positive change, but many never see the tears that made rivers out of streams. That is why our people, like rivers, are still flowing. That is why our people, like rivers, are still flowing. If I could be like Betty, Coretta, or Merle, I would change the world for little girls like me that are trapped inside of a grown woman's body. I would take my beauty and wear it like a medal on my chest, proud to have accomplished all the Creator gave me the talent to accomplish. I would have brains that hold together the strains of emotional pains. I would have truth that moves through the times. No need to raise my voice or hit rewind on words spoken once before. I would be a living example of what every black woman should know. If I could be what Betty was to Malcolm, what Coretta was to Martin, what Merle was to Mecca, then maybe brothers would see the love I have inside of me and how beautiful we could be if I could be. Fathers, brothers, uncles, cousins, husbands, lovers, and friends. Where is God? God is where he's always been. In the eyes of black men. Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Freedom Day. I love you, Naja Douning. Peace.
I call her sunflower, high yellow, let me tell you, she more realer than a million niggas living black power. Within hours, it was out. I'm a sample, scatter shout, dry her tears without a towel. Broken words, broken powers, let me put you in a vase. Let me put you on display. Let me hold you, smell and taste. I hope you know that it's okay. Hope you know I'm here today.
I love it.
I'm here to stay. And if heard from the grapevine, I hope the grapevine grew this grace. Wine and dine if that's okay. Okay, that might be clear.
I don't know about you ladies, but every time she spoke, all I could think was, I want to remain in my softness. Yeah, and sometimes as black women, we don't get to do that. So we're seen as aggressive, overreacted. Listen, I said what I said. Oh, yeah. I love you guys. I am excited to bring on this next individual. Please give it up for Mr. Mark Hughes.
I got melanin. Oh yeah. I got melanin. We got melanin. 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 I got melanin. Oh yeah. I got melanin. We got melanin. 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 I got melanin. Oh yeah. I got melanin. We got melanin. 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 I got melanin. Oh yeah. I got melanin. We got melanin. 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 I got melanin. Oh yeah. I got melanin. We got melanin. 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 I got melanin. Oh yeah. I got melanin. We got melanin. Melanin.
Come on, y'all, this is what we fighting for, right?
I got melanin. Oh yeah. I got melanin. We got melanin.
All right. Hey, I am the Reverend Mark Hughes. I'm with the Vermont Racial Justice Alliance. And Justice for All. I'm also the principal of Racial Equity Association, and I'm your new commander of the Veterans of Foreign War, right over here in the corner there. Yeah. The Racial Justice Alliance unapologetically Our mission is to secure sustainable, check this out, secure sustainable power, ensure agency, and provide security for American descendants of slavery while embracing their history and preserving their culture. That's what we do. You don't have to clap. I won't be mad at you. So I just came to share a couple things with you. Somebody turn this thing off. Can you come and get this? So I'm running. We're running from thing to thing. We got a few things happening this weekend, and the main thing I wanted to stop by to share with you is just some of the things that are happening over the weekend. We are so proud to be a sponsor of this event, first of all, because this is a big deal. How many people believe this is a big deal? DJ, is this a big deal?
My seats be deep now. Me rooted in the melody.
Okay, I'm old, but I'm here. So a couple things. First of all, I want to just, everybody give me 30 seconds for Mr. Richard Kemp. Be quiet, 30 seconds. Thank you. For those who don't know Richard Kemp, ask somebody. Moving on. So here's where we are today is this is the kickoff of Juneteenth, but I came to give you some other news as well, because we never abolished slavery. We never did. And I know there are some people in the room who know this, and you probably saw the governor's announcement. It was a proclamation just a couple of days ago, and he was required to do so. It was his constitutional duty to do so, because the legislature passed in 2 consecutive bienniums overwhelmingly that we would amend this state constitution, the state constitution that has held slavery constitutionally longer than any other state in the United States since 1777, with 3 exception clauses. This state's exception clauses would go on to inform 25 other states' exception clauses, as well as the existing exception clause in the United States Constitution, the 13th Amendment, where it says slavery is prohibited except for the punishment of a duly convicted crime. That's real. So I didn't come to rain on your parade, but I just came to tell you, I'll take the holiday, but we still have to abolish slavery. Somebody say we have to abolish slavery. I didn't even hear you. We have to abolish slavery. So that is what the campaign is going to be doing. We kicked it off yesterday, and we're going to be doing this all the way up to November 8th, and it is on the ballot. So that's one of the major initiatives we'll be working with. How many people believe that systemic racism is the legacy of slavery? It is, isn't it? So when people start, they're talking about, oh, there's critical race theory. I don't know what this thing is all about. Oh my God, I can't believe they teaching my kids this. My kids come home and they all upset, and they don't want us to believe in the president no more. And I don't know what they're trying to do tell them to shut up. Okay? Because systemic racism is a thing. Okay? I'm almost done. Systemic racism is a thing. I know that's funny to some of y'all. Systemic racism is a thing. And all I'm really getting at here is that is what all of the work that we've been doing all of this time, to include the creation of the Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Office, to include the creation of the Racial Equity Executive Director's Office at the statewide level, the unprecedented reparations task force that exists here, and on and on and on. Racial disparities in the criminal and juvenile justice system, the health equity bill that was just passed recently, and all of the other work that we are doing converges at a foundation of an institution of slavery. So this is very important, okay? Okay. So that's the first thing that we're going to be doing for the remainder of the year up until November. The second thing is, of course, we'll continue to roll momentum into the Kim Center, the Richard Kim Center, which is at 372 North Winooski. That's where we're going to be later on this evening for those who can come out. So here's what's going on. So later on after Angela, we'll be there. I'm sad to report to you that I think it's Maximum Impact Poetry. They've been delayed. They're in D.C. right now. They're not going to get in until 12 tonight. But Noble Jules has agreed to go ahead and jump in. And so she's going to be running the open mic over there this evening from about 8 to 10 for those who will be able to stop into the Kim Center. That's going to lead into a prayer breakfast tomorrow morning starting at 7:30. It's not very exciting because it's interfaith. And you can't say Jesus that much. I like to say Jesus. So, But still, we're going to be on there. I mean, even Wafiq says Jesus sometimes. He says, Jesus. Jesus, Mark. So be at that interfaith prayer breakfast if you can. Go online. AbolishSlaveryVT.org. AbolishSlaveryVT.org. Get after that. We'll be in the park. We'll be in the park tomorrow from I think it's 1 to 7. Main stage at 3 p.m. where we'll have a panel on this whole conversation about slavery abolition. How many people want to be abolitionists up in here? How many people want to be abolitionists up in here? So that's the long and short. Speaking of abolition, and I'll leave you with this, Abolition Today is a podcast that I need you to write down. Just type it in your phone right now. Abolition Today. They used to do live from the plantation, but they took all the phones from them in prison. No, that ain't funny. That's real. The program was live from the plantation. We changed that up, but now we're doing Abolition Today. That's been happening for a while. Max and Yusef just landed. He's at a B&B over on Archibald. He'll be over here tonight. But they will be broadcasting Abolition Today for the first time together live from the Kim Center on Sunday at 7 p.m. if you want to join and check that out. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Y'all are amazing. I ain't never seen so many pretty black people in one place. I love you all. Thank you for coming out. God bless you all. God bless Vermont. God bless the movement. We going somewhere. We outside.
They're just shocked by it. And a lot of people, they're just shocked by it. And a lot of people are shocked by it to the point of they actually think it's something else because they're seeing blacks, intelligent blacks that stand by what they believe in.
Where y'all at?
And that's something that's a rarity today.
Wait, DJ.
Believing in something that could be positive.
They sound like they just woke up.
For the love of
where y'all at?
They're just shocked by it. And
we
a lot of people are shocked by it to the point of they actually think it's something else because they're seeing blacks, intelligent blacks that stand by what they believe in. And that's something that's a rarity today. Of black people
is that the universal?
Something that could be positive, and that's for the love of our people.
But the one here that
right about now we're finna do a remix, you know what I'm saying?
Hey. So listen. This year's Juneteenth is titled A Love Story, and I am honored and humbled to be able to introduce to you this year's keynote speaker, the heart of storytelling that breathes through this woman, and what she brings to this community is absolutely inspiring. So do me a favor, stand up. Because if you don't know, please, a round of applause for Miss Farine Paris Myers.
Plant the seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin poppin', I'm rooted. ATL bread, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head rooted. All my songs come with melanin. Got the heart, got the soul like Harriet. A queen since she born, that was evident. That's evidence of black excellence. I can tell it.
Yo, what's up, people? How we doing today? Wow, it is an absolute honor to be here with y'all in this moment. And I'm not taking it for granted. Not today. Not today. We often joke that the word listen can be a whole sentence in our culture. Listen. Period. My name is Farine, and I have found deep, profound healing through storytelling. And every time I do this, I'm nervous. And it's because I so deeply care about what it means to hold space for our community, especially our BIPOC community, especially my Black community. Yes, right? And I've been in Burlington now for 10 years. I'm one of those brown people you ask, how long you been here? And I give a double digit now, and they look at me weird like, how? How you doing that, sis? You know how we do it? We do it because of the brown and Black community. We gotta take a moment and acknowledge what it means to have community. Because too often in this Black narrative, they want us to focus on the suffering, the pain, the trauma, all of that. And I don't know about you, but I'm so sick and tired of sitting in that fucking narrative. Because being Black is a beautiful damn thing, y'all. Black is joy, Black excellence. Yo, I'm surrounded last night. Ooh, my Black queens, my Black femmes, the fellas that were around me last night. I'm like, you can't touch me. Do you not see the tribe that I walked into this space with? Try it. Try it. Try to tell me I'm not enough. Try to tell me that we can't take up this space. Try to tell me that this joy is not for mine. Because guess what? Game over. I'm tired of waiting. Joy starts now. Joy starts today. I was listening to a song, and it's called I Want to Know What Love Is by The Foreigners. And I was listening to the lyrics. I'm a big lyric person. And the song goes like this. In my life, there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it again. I can't stop now. I've traveled so far to beat this lonely life. I don't want to be lonely no more. When I came to Vermont, it was so lonely. It's been lonely. Some days, even surrounded by brown and Black excellence, it can feel so lonely. But so many of us, those that have been living here for decades, those who have moved here, we've come too far to not have people love us the way that we are worthy of being loved. Because let's be real. All roads lead back to Black women. I'm sorry, I said it. It is what it is. That's it. That's it. Right? Invest in us, we all win. Because we're tired of being on the bottom. We're tired of scraping and being like, you should appreciate this. No, I can be grateful and I'm so deserving of more. Y'all, Black folks in this community are deserving of more. And so I'm so thankful for the movie. It feels like a movie when we are moving through these programs. Juneteenth 2021, baby. Let's go back in time to that joy. Let's go back in time where Queen Taisha Green and REIB Queen Taisha Green, she showed up. She's like, y'all don't do anything about Juneteenth? If you know her face. Yeah, absolutely not. We're gonna do some things about this. And I got to experience a day here where everywhere I went, I saw my people. I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like for white folks. To see, I was at the waterfront, going down Main Street. We were everywhere. Everywhere I went, I knew that there was somebody, if something came up, they would have my back. And I want to ask y'all, I want to ask Vermont, I want to ask, can we have this joy beyond a Juneteenth weekend or a Discover Jazz Fest or a Black History Month? I want to walk into the radio bean and I want to see that stage filled with our people living their best life, because the surviving game is old, expired, and we are worthy of thriving. But we can't do it alone, because me thriving is a collective responsibility. It's not just on me, because when I left it on me, that's how my depression kicked in, that's how my anxiety kicked in. It's too much for one human to tend to their heart. We need community. Back to what I was saying. We need community. As it says in the song, show us what love is. I know people know how to love people. I see you do it all the time. What does it mean to not look through people? What does it mean to witness them in everything that they're bringing? Not just I'm gonna check this box off. No, I want you to witness us. I want all our narratives, the joy and everything in between, to haunt you. If you leave here today and you just go back to business as usual, you did not follow the assignment. You got one job. And your one job is for us to manifest Black joy, because it's our collective responsibility. I'm gonna say it for the people in the back. Manifesting Black joy is our collective responsibility. And when people show up and do that, you get this. For those who might not know, this is the Flynn Theater, and it is one of my most precious homes. My storytelling journey started in this building. I took a wonderful class with Sue Schmidt, and I was trying to just take something to pour into my own heart, because as a mother, as a Black woman, as a past higher ed professional, you take care of everybody. But where's me? And I was looking in the mirror. I don't know if anybody else feels this as a whatever marginalized identity that might be overtaking you sometimes, but you're like, I don't even recognize myself. I'm looking at someone that has like my hair, my lips. Yeah, those are those Haitian features my parents passed down to me. But your spirit is missing, Farine. And that's a dangerous place to be. And so I took a storytelling class. And of course, I was the only brown person in the class. And for many of us, you got two choices. And I chose to do something about it. And I went back and I was like, this was cute. But what would it look like for a person of color to host the storytelling class for BIPOC, by BIPOC, right? FUBU's been saying that, for us, by us. And all it did was me to teach that class, and in the first week, I'm like, I'm quitting that job because this is my purpose now. My purpose is to use storytelling and invite us to witness each other, to invite you to witness me. I'm done people telling the story that is not my story. I am not a single story. That is a dangerous place. There's so much to what weaves our collective tapestry. And we, especially our community of color here, we gotta stop letting people outside our community write our story. Let's take ownership of that. Let's live it out loud. And for all our conspirators and allies and advocates in the room, uplift us. Pour your love. You can be so tender in so many different ways. When an incident happened to my family last fall, the N-word was written on our family car. And though clearly there was so much pain and grief and triggering. There was so much in this incident with this word written across the hood of my car that my family and I is a sacred place for us. But what I also remember from that is how the community showed love. It came with being able to go be with my queens, and I cried on that couch, and they all hugged me and loved on me. It was when Spectrum reached out and they were like, if you got it, we can detail that car for you. That is on us. It was the people that showed up in my driveway and chalked it with all of these messages so that I did not forget my magic and that I remembered why I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. It was the gestures left on the porch, not only for me, like that is love. And so I'm here to remind us it doesn't have to be this like huge way of showing it. You just got to do it in a profound, intentional way and be authentic about it. Don't just love on us to check a box. Love on us because you believe and know what you're loving on. Learn the story, do the history. And on that note, peace out, y'all.
Yes, yes, yes.
I want you to show me.
Hey, hey. I love it. I love it, I love it. Wow. It's the fact that we got people up here. Y'all didn't even realize that, huh? Y'all did that. Yeah. Okay. I love the way Farine said that. Simply put, we are not just for entertainment. Oh, that wasn't the nice way, huh? I can't say it the way Farine said it. But no, we are not. And oftentimes we, individuals outside of our community, gather and cheer us on when they are being entertained. And our culture can be worn but not felt or respected. So because we outside, I want y'all to make some noise for yourselves. What you got? What you got? We gotta turn up real quick. We got like a 2-minute turn up. Cause we haven't had like, you feel me? Okay. What we got? Cause we not gonna play City Girls, I don't know. Not that one, not talk, but what y'all wanna hear? Huh? Oh, Meg Thee Stallion? Who? Get on up. James Brown, get on up. What you say? What We Do by who? Freeway? Ooh, What We Do by Freeway. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Real hot girl.
Oh, we got some Megan. She gave us some Megan. Hey, hey. Hold up. Hold up. How she do it? Am I in concert? I'm in concert. We got.
Yes, I'm a cold piece.
Y'all not active over here. Y'all not, hold up, DJ, hold up. Let me tell you something. If you in this room, I know we dedicated the front part for us. I need to be a comedian. If you are in this room, you better get activated. We gonna try this one more time. Come on, DJ. You better get up. Hey. Hey. What? That's right. What you say?
Body crazy curvy, wavy, big titties, little waist. Body crazy curvy, wavy, big titties, little waist.
What you say? Hey. That's right. Get activated.
Ate it up and gave it back. They look good, but they still wanna know we're making it. Toss me like a barbecue, but you won't get your pay.
What y'all gonna do with
taste it.
Hold up. I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. So, some of y'all wasn't there last night, but it's a group right here. I had to press my hair back out this morning. That's all I'm gonna say. We gonna try this one more time, because I'm gonna tell you something. Check. To tell you something, ladies. Y'all know culturally for us, when we go back to our roots in Africa, right? We do this thing where we get real low with it, right? It wasn't over-sexualized. That was the way we moved energy. That was the way we expressed ourselves. So I like this. This cute. Ah! We gonna try this one more time. Y'all know what I'm saying. DJ, let's go. Hey, get low. Get low. Hey, wait, that's right. That's right. I love it. All right, DJ. I love y'all. Listen. Hold on. We gonna save it. We gonna turn this into Club Flynn in a minute. Jay gonna kick me out. We activated. We gonna stay activated, not just on Juneteenth, not just during Black History Month, but every day as a brown face in Burlington. I want to see you on Church Street. I want to see you dining on Church Street. I want to see you active in the community, not just on the north side, not just on the south side, but in the city.
Life is an interesting journey.
Where we at?
Where to take you. Peaks and valleys.
So listen.
You can get the surprise.
You're
in your
next. Listen, I don't know about y'all. So when I came last year, y'all saw how excited I just got, because this involves food. When I came, I need a new job. They don't pay me enough. God damn. When I came last year, the first thing I thought was, ooh, I'm not gonna be able to get no soul food out here. Okay, I was worried. But then I had Harmony's Kitchen. Whew. How they do it? That was the feeling I got. So please, because she is an amazing, not only the soul food, bussin'. Oh, the soul food is really good. She is an amazing chef and poet. So please stand up, give it a round of applause for poet, chef, Harmony.
Sometimes on the way where you going, you
Hi, everyone. How's it going? Cool. This is my first time on this stage, so it's pretty lit. But yes, yes, I run Harmony's Kitchen, which is a soul food joint here. I will be giving out free food in Winooski and Essex, so from 3 to 8, if you want some free soul food, come say hi. Rotary Park, 3 to 8, Essex Junction, same. Not Rotary Park, but Fort Allen Park, so I'll hook you up there. But apart from that, I'm a jack of many trades. My other trade is I'm a poet and activist as well. And so I'm just gonna read some poems for y'all, if that's okay. Cool. All right. So I moved to Vermont about 6 years ago, and I came up here for school. I graduated from UVM, and thank you. Yeah, I graduated last year. And you know, when I first came to Vermont, I had like this big afro that was green. I was very excited. I was like a hippie almost, you know. I was really excited to come up here, and I was just really full on ready to like embrace Vermont. But when I got up here, it didn't embrace me back. And so here's this poem I wrote. It's called Vermont Sucks. I love Vermont, but you know, if we're going to make this place a better place, accountability needs to be held. So I encourage you. My poems are kind of like a smack in the face, but it feels good after that, I promise you, because you're learning. So here's my poem, Vermont Sucks. You got what I call that silent racism. You know, the ones that don't wave Confederate flags. They vote blue but try to ignore the fact that you're black. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but Vermont sucks. It's a safe haven for whites, and if you're not that, good luck. The type of racism that keeps black folks as other. You're cool as long as you're not dating their son or daughter. Shout out to my ex's family. People here got that racism that tells you you speak really good English even though you're from the Bronx. I call it that Bernie Sanders racism. You know, the ones who believe they're progressive but still walk on eggshells when they're around us? They say they're for black issues but later vote against us. But Vermont is super liberal, right? Black Lives Matter signs in every window but not a black person in sight. The type of racism that kneads slowly at your brain. The type of racism that comes with a smile as they gaslight your pain. Living here, what have I gained? Trauma I have to unlearn and change. These beautiful large green mountains will no longer hide black pain. The mask this white man's paradise wears, one day will surely fade. And that's Vermont Sucks. So, as an activist, I, especially in my activist prime, I'd say in 2020, I would get probably at least 20 messages a day from various different white women trying to talk to me about how they can be better for the movement. And so this poem kind of inspires this conversation. Ode to the white girl that's really trying her best. You found out about racism yesterday. And now you're in my DMs today. Just disturbing my peace as I'm trying to smoke my J. I was scrolling through my timeline, chuckling at memes. Then I see a message from you appear at the top of my screen. I click and immediately roll my eyes. It's a fucking dissertation on how you just learned about the plight of black lives. I don't want to read all of this, but I guess I must. You've beckoned the only black girl you know to absolve you of this fuss. I read on and on as you detail your past gruesome crimes, like the time you clutched a purse as a black man walked by. I wish I could tell you, I don't give a fuck. Did you even care to ask me if this was something I wanted to discuss? Instead, I give you what you're looking for. I acknowledge your guilt and pain, give you resources you won't read. You don't actually care to change. You don't actually care about uprooting white supremacy. You just don't want to be seen as racist. So you hand off this burden, and it is I who must face it. You don't care about black lives. Unless it's a cis man you can fit in between your thighs. But you're trying. Sorry, that was a little shady. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it again. You don't care about black lives. Unless it's a cis man you can fit in between your thighs. But you're trying really hard. You go to a few protests and you think you've advanced the movement oh so far. Oh, and we must not forget the white-splaining of my own experiences. You are now the teacher and I the recipient. Fuck you, your fragility, and your long-ass essay. Don't message me later about this poem either. I'm just trying to finish smoking my J. I have one more and then I'm gone. One more. I don't know which one to read, if I should read this one, that one. Okay. So this next poem I'm going to be reading, does anyone know who Joe Scott Heron is? Yes. He wrote The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. He also wrote Whitey on the Moon. And so I wrote this poem called Whitey in Space, inspired by Whitey on the Moon. And that's because the rich Whitey just went to space, and I thought it was fitting. A virus done took my people with Bezos in space. 4 million plus dead and gone, but Bezos in space. I can't pay my student loans, but Bezos in space. Choosing when to pay a bill or to eat, but Bezos in space. You know, gentrification upped the rent again with Bezos in space. Can't afford to live here no more, but hey, Bezos in space. Taxes still taking my whole damn check. 15 hours crumbs to the bread he gets. The price of gas is going up. And if all that shit wasn't enough, a virus then took my people with Bezos in space. 4 million plus dead and gone, but Bezos in space. For all that money I made for Amazon last year, I wonder why I don't have any money here. Let me think. Bezos in space. I'm gonna make a deal. I think I'll send all these bills to the Whitey in space. Prime shipping too, just in case. Thank you.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of kill 'em all and let 'em die. God bless America.
Hey.
So God bless America. Her tomorrow ain't promised today.
Yes, that's why her food be so good.
Damn, military minded.
Y'all know that's why Harmony food be so good, right? Cause she don't be with the shit. You ever see your aunties when they be in the kitchen? They got, y'all know what them auntie and them big mama arms look like, right? They be in the kitchen, and they are the women that what? Don't take no shit in the family. I love it. So listen, cause we outside. Okay, activate it. I would like to bring to the stage from the Vermont Professionals of Color, Tino, Rutanhira. Talk about me later, cousins. Rutanhira. Thank you.
Cause I live by the sword, I'm dying by the sword. Her police was looking for me, I'ma hide by a broad. Shooting stars in my pocket, bitch sit on my rocket, I'm wired out the socket.
So I am going to be that friend at the party that keeps guys saying, guys, time to go home, or let's go back inside. Because I have a speech, and I am not going to be able to ad-lib like everybody else has done, but here goes. So, thank you. My name is Tino Charles Rutanhira. I am the co-founder of the Vermont Professionals of Color Network. Thank you. Some people know me as Charles, and others know me as Tino Tenda. That is because in my native country of Zimbabwe, Rhodesia at the time, the system of apartheid that was in place when I was born required us to have English names to go to school. So my school transcripts have Charles as my first name, while my certificate and legal documents have Tino Tenda as my first name. So when I came to the United States, I had to use Charles in order to fit in and to get interviews and jobs. While I am not here to talk about the dark history of apartheid in Southern Africa, I am telling you this only to make the point that the yoke of apartheid has been a yoke around my neck for 48 years. Even though apartheid is over, and I live here in the United States, I still carry around and use 2 different names as a result of a racist legacy. The same legacy impacts my brothers and sisters here in America. 400 years of systematic oppression continues to negatively affect BIPOC folk in America today in obvious and subtle ways. In an effort to dismantle some of these systems, I am proud to be the co-founder of the Vermont Professionals of Color Network. Thank you. An organization whose mission is to build opportunities to improve the experience, representation, and success of BIPOC professionals and businesses in the state. We believe that prosperity starts with opportunities to climb the economic ladder, and that a prosperous BIPOC community is a good thing for all of Vermont. The vision. Now I know how the president feels when he's doing the State of the Union and trying to just get through his thing. The vision that my co-founders and I have for this organization is for this state is huge. It's audacious, it's radical. We are planning to rewrite Vermont's history, to change it from being the second whitest and second oldest state to having a vibrant, thriving BIPOC young community. Yes, Vermont is very white and is very cold and unwelcoming in the wintertime. But I'd argue that Vermont is no more colder than Chicago, Detroit, or Minneapolis. And yet these places have thriving BIPOC communities. White Vermonters have made the beauty of the state known only to themselves and to folks of color that are inside the borders of the state. It doesn't take much to see the influx of white families from Boston, New York City, and the Philly suburbs to Vermont to see why they are coming here. And it doesn't take much for you to see why we have stayed here. It's for the high quality of life in the form of low crime, great schools, great place to raise your kids, the safety, the environment, the mountains, the lakes, the access to nature, the air, the wide open spaces. Surely these things are also what Black and brown professionals are looking for as they look to leave the bigger cities. In our vision for this state, we want Vermont to become a mecca for Black and brown professionals and entrepreneurs. Call it the new Black Wall Street, or the Atlanta of the North, or the Atlanta north of the wall. I don't care, but we believe that this is possible. We're a state of 600,000 people. If we were a city, we would only be the 26th largest city in the country. We don't need a 20-year vision to make a significant impact. A concerted effort and your collective support, we can do this in 5 to 8 years. When I first arrived in Vermont, like many of you, I felt alone and isolated, and so that is why the Vermont Professionals of Colors Foundation is based on a bedrock of networking, creating a sense of community, a safe and welcoming place where people of color can be amongst each other and feel free to be together and without needing to code switch or to leave our own cultures behind. Seeing the interactions of members on our networking Zoom calls or our in-person networking events emphasizes to me the deep need for community in this place. We all know that racism is deeply ingrained in our society, and as a result, is deeply ingrained in our workplaces too. Systems that are failing communities of color fail all of us alike, Black, brown, and white. The median net worth of Black families is $30,000, and that of a white family, $190,000. While college graduation rates for Black and white kids are almost at par, we account for only 8% of employees in professional roles in this country. We need that to change. That is why one of the core pillars of the Vermont Professionals of Color Network is to promote BIPOC professional development. We want to provide our members with skills, upskill training, opportunities for career development and advancement, and opportunities to recruit into better paying jobs, and to grow generations of BIPOC leaders to join the ranks of leadership and management in many of the corporations that are represented here in Vermont. So if you are looking to advance your career, go to our jobs board on our website and join our network. There are hundreds of career opportunities that are waiting for you there. The second pillar of our organization is to empower BIPOC organizations, businesses, and entrepreneurs with the resources, community, and talent required to stimulate and sustain growth. As an entrepreneur myself, I want to see our BIPOC businesses go beyond being mom and pop shops, go beyond being solopreneurs. As an organization, VTPOC is hard at work applying pressure to private businesses, local and state governments to ensure that they are including BIPOC-owned businesses in their supply chain and procurement policies. We're not asking for 100% of the pie. We're just asking for equity and opportunities to have a piece of the pie. We are pushing companies. We're pushing companies to make a conscious effort to write in BIPOC business support into their RFPs. So if you're a business owner of any size, please go to our website and register your business on our BIPOC business directory, because the state's largest businesses are willing to invest in our BIPOC entrepreneurs. In the future, we are looking to create a private sector and governmental contract portal so that BIPOC entrepreneurs and businesses can discover lucrative procurement contracts that are available for bidding. Besides being a black man, an immigrant, a working professional, and a small business owner, I am also the parent, the proud parent, of an amazing 17-year-old, which is why the third pillar and final pillar of VTPOC is to build capacity for youth of color to provide them access to early career experiential opportunities and mentorship opportunities to ensure that they can reach their full potential. Prosperity starts with opportunities to climb the economic ladder. And that is why it is critically important for VTPOC to ensure that our young BIPOC youth have access to internship and mentorship opportunities. We want our young people to be ready to enter the professional world, and we also badly want them to stay in Vermont. So if you're 16 to 22 years old, again, go to our website, become a member. We'll soon be launching an internship page that will exclusively advertise paid internship opportunities in Vermont just for you BIPOC youth. In conclusion, I wanted to find a word that articulates what I feel about the work that we are doing at VTPOC. And so I looked up the definition of pride. And pride is a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievement, the achievements of those with whom one is closely associated, or qualities or possessions that are widely admired. I am proud to be black. I am proud of the work that I am doing in the BIPOC community. Weiwei Wong, Crystal Sanchez-Williams, Charlotte Graff, Devonna Sidno, Alex Mujmuda. I am proud of you, proud of the work that you are doing as employees of VTPOC to advance the cause of black and brown professionals and businesses in the state. It's not easy to dismantle 400 years of systematic oppression, but every day I see you selflessly putting in the hard hours on behalf of BIPOC folk in the state. Every day, I see you not thinking of yourselves as individuals, but part of a whole network of black and brown professionals, so that if one person is uplifted, then others rise too. After all, a rising tide lifts all boats. That is the ethos of VTPOC, that we improve the existence, representation, and prosperity of BIPOC professionals, businesses in the state, that we control our own narrative, our image, our culture, our identity, our race, and our future. VTPOC is reclaiming authority to how we see ourselves and how others see us. I hope that you will join me in this journey, and I thank you for this time.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're gonna move this along. I would love for you all to give a round of applause for this beautiful performer, Mikahely.
I barely walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I had to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. While the clouds roll back in the stars.
While we are setting up for Mikahely, I just wanted to let you guys know that this is our Henny. Hey. So what's so amazing about the Black experience is that originally we were supposed to be outside. We were gonna have a beer garden. We had barbers set up. We moved it inside. What's still amazing is if you guys go on that far left-hand room, adjacent to the concession stand, Al Henny is back there giving away free haircuts. Okay, it's the beard and it's the smile for me. He is gorgeous. Only God. If this is what God looks like, take me. I'm gonna let you say a few things, Al Henny.
Thank you, everyone. I'm a little nervous. My language is, it's not right, but it's my first language, Spanish. Love you too. I just want to say, if anyone need a haircut, come visit. Anyone that is here right now, free haircut for anyone that came, first time haircut. Anyone have kids, come bring it to the barbershop, 463 St. Paul Street. Free haircut for anyone, right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Nobody told, hold up, TJ. Nobody told him that he don't really have to speak, right? Just stand there, sir. Thank you. Thank you. You guys make some noise for Mikahely.
Might be hard to face 'cause I'm alone, and I just might fail, but I know I'll try. Just as fill up the sky. Stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on.
Wala tsara mana korabe. Thank you, thank you. Mikahely, really happy to be here. All right, everybody. First song, Valley of Blessings. Thank you so much. Next song, it's called The Churi. Thank you. Everybody, stay well.
Sometimes I lay under the moon. I thank God I'm breathing. And I pray, don't take me soon, cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds.
Beautiful. That was gorgeous. It felt good. Okay. It did. So we are setting up for our next speaker. I got like 1 minute. I need someone to tell me something good about Juneteenth this week. Oh. Thank you. I told y'all I need a new job. We outside. Thank you. So, maybe I have more than a minute. Aside from me, something else beautiful about Juneteenth. Thank you. All of you. Well, you know, us. Y'all gonna kick me out tomorrow. So listen, please give a round of applause to Peace and Justice Center. This beautiful individual. I had the opportunity of really vibing with her last night. Zoraya, Hightower.
the land, so my alias is Alice. And we gon' start a motherfucking pussy riot. Or we gon' have to put them on a pussy diet. Look at that, I guarantee I got them quiet. Look at that, I guarantee they all inspired. A-Town made it out there. Straight out Kansas City, yeah, we made it out there. Celebrated, graduated, made it past fail.
So I'm also not a musician or a poet or a storyteller. I'm just a girl standing in front of a lot of people trying not to throw up. My name is Zoraya Hightower. I'm the Executive Director of the Peace and Justice Center. I will also be looking at my notes, and I will look away from them, then I'll get flustered, and then I will try to find them again, so just get ready for that. What is the Black experience in Vermont? We know that it depends. It depends on the person. It depends on the context. For me, as a Black woman, it can mean a lot of different things, even for me. As a politician, it means that I constantly experience everyone, everywhere, being mad at me for everything, all of the time. As a Black woman activist and community organizer, it too often means being the least mediocre person in the room. Being the only one willing to put out an idea, get behind it, do the work for it. As a Black woman boss, it means shielding my employees while also taking more blowback than others would in my position. And as a Black woman dating, no, I'm just kidding, I'm not gonna talk about that. The Black experience in Vermont is to be racked with grief, filled with survivor's guilt, and overcome with anger, and to have to get up and perform anyway. It's to be resilient, sometimes by necessity, sometimes by choice, sometimes both. To be Black in Vermont is to be the first in too many spaces. It's to be me, the first woman of color on the Burlington City Council. Thanks. And it's to look at a wall of all of the mayors that Burlington has had and know that that's by design, not by accident. It's breaking the glass ceiling and then having all of the shards of glass still in your skin when you have to get up and do the work. But also, as a Black woman in Vermont, it means that no matter what else, when I go out, every Black woman in this room has my back. It means sailing excursions, singing pretty brown skin, pretty dark skin, pretty light skin, on a sailboat with Farine. It means Black Santa pajama parties. It means cookouts. It means sunsets. It also means love. Some people say that Black women love too much. They love too hard. They love people they shouldn't love. Forget that. I'm not trying to turn Black women into white men. I'm ready to keep loving. I'm trying to turn the world into a Black woman. It's time for all of us to love a little too hard. As someone who grew up with a lot of interracial racism, including interminority racism, I also love solidarity in 5 letters, B-I-P-O-C. That means something to me. It means that my cousins, all of my cousins have my back and I've got theirs. The subtle head nod that I got you when we're in an all white or an all male, or God forbid, an all white male space. And since becoming the executive director of the Peace and Justice Center, I've had a lot of time to think about what kind of world I want. And when I started at the Peace and Justice Center, I said a lot, no justice, no peace. But now I also believe there will be no justice until we have peace. And that's in this country, that's around the world. We need a new vision for the future. At the Peace and Justice Center, we don't just look to reorder the hierarchies, but to dismantle them. Leaders who serve the common good, communities who find ways to address conflict and harm, resource distribution that works for all of us. I know we've all seen the image, the equity image, where there's a baseball field and everyone gets one box to stand on, and that's equality, and equity is the shortest person gets the more boxes, and then justice is getting rid of the fence. We gotta get rid of more fences. Get rid of the fence. Start thinking big. So at the Peace and Justice Center, we believe in collective liberation. That includes all my sisters. That includes all my queer kin. That includes all white people whose liberation is bound up in mine. So as a center, we hold and serve folks across multiple identities and work towards collective liberation, because it's about human rights. And every time somebody tries to take human rights away, they look at us as one, right? They're like, oh, those folks are together. So as others have said before me, then it's time that we start acting like it. If they're gonna see us as the same, we may as well start acting like it. I'm gonna ask everyone to do me a favor and pull out your phones and go to pjcvt.org. And if you're not a member, become a member. I'm not just talking to the white people in the room, I'm talking to everyone. Collective liberation, we need everybody in the movement. I'm filled with pride at what the PJC and our small staff have accomplished and the work we're ready to do. But we're at a moment in history. There's been, I think, I've been talking a lot about the lie that I was told my whole life, the lie of continual progress. If you just wait long enough, if you just hold on long enough, progress is coming. That's the way that America has always gone. BS, that is not true. I don't know how they managed to convince so many of us of this lie, but it's not true. There have been so many times that we've rolled back. We've rolled back during Reconstruction. We rolled back after the Civil Rights Movement. We're rolling back on women's autonomy. We're rolling back on queer rights. Our rights are not guaranteed. Progress is not guaranteed. So as I and the Peace and Justice Center continue to work for our collective liberation, I hope you join us. Thank you so much for having me.
I just took a DNA test, turns out I'm 100% that bitch. Even when I'm crying crazy, yeah, I got boy problems, that's the human in me. Bling, bling, then I solve them, that's the goddess in me. You could've had a bad bitch, not committal. Just a little.
Y'all don't look activated. Y'all don't look activated. What we doing? Hey.
Why men great till they gotta be?
Say what?
Don't text me, tell us
okay. Hold on. I love y'all. If y'all haven't adopted me already, just know I'm available, okay? Don't wait for me to come out here and get activated. If the DJ lit, activate, okay? I am excited about this next performance. Just to let you guys know, like, we are in fast forward of the program at this stage. Perfect. I want you guys to give it up and make some noise for this musical performer, Vermont's very own. He's Ghanaian. Make some noise for SINNN.
Yeah. Torture, motherfucker. What? Nigga, what? Yeah. Torture, motherfucker. Yeah. Torture, yeah. Torture, yeah. Torture, motherfucker. What?
Nigga, what?
I fucking tie you to a fucking bedpost
DJ
with your ass.
Thank you.
Fucking
First of all, some black people are on time sometimes, but most of y'all know we are colorfully late most of the time, all right? Don't play with me. Don't play with me, all right? Sure. Somehow I managed to work my way up to getting a job at UVM and being a speech and debate coach, and I'm still late a lot of the time, okay? So yeah, we're not here to tell you that at different parts of the cultural lexicon we're different. But as was said, my name is SINNN. My mother named me Edwin Owusu. I was born in Ghana, West Africa. Akwaba, Minya, Akwaba. And we're not gonna waste y'all time. Let's just do the music. Start that track over, please, and turn it up. Yeah. Y'all doing all right so far, though? Oh yeah, I like the energy in here. There it is. I like the way that fills the room a little bit better. Y'all ready? We gonna try it. From the beginning to the end, life is a circle of death. But the things I've seen in between, I cannot forget. Witnessed abuse and suffered through tragic neglect. Tried hard to gather some strength, but little was left. And from a broken home came broken dreams of a innocent child, or so it seemed. And I tried hard not to let the pain get me, but I had no joy either. A soul so empty. I was forced to grow up, it was before my time. An insecure little boy with a grown man's mind. Some people say that happiness is easy to find. How when you hustle dimes around guns and knives? All of me is what I give through the struggle and story. Hell yeah, I had the guts but fell short of glory. Deep down we all want to be free, but I probably wouldn't recognize joy. I was used to the grief. How we doing? Okay. DJ, I feel the energy now. Let's try that second verse. I wrote this rhyme on the very last page of my book. I'm from a place where the streets stay infested with crooks. Plenty kings who stay protected by rooks. And so I spit to give the silence the voice, and those without a face a look. I peep the phoniness, they all transformers. Flow is egregious, but yet they're still pompous. Any competition, best plan gon' conquer. We've been plotting since KRS dropped the South Bronx and shocked us. Leave it up to churches, teach belief. Here's a message to the smokers, touch your leaf. You hear nothing when these so-called rappers speak. They should be renamed deaf, dumb, and mute MCs. I'm out for excellence to represent me. I'm no dummy. I spit more heat than they can bear. Not the gummy strength in numbers. I'm bound to be a Vermont staple, cause these words are world famous like the Vermont maple. Hey, what's up? DJ Akwaba, welcome to Vermont. We hold hip hop down out here, you heard? Yeah. For those of y'all that don't know, Vermont has an amazing hip hop scene. We holding it down. I want that next record, please, before I get out of y'all hair. I got one more for y'all, real quick. And salute to all of my other artists that we saw coming up. Mikahely, Zoraya, I appreciate your words and the energy in the room. Let's get that next record, Aaron. Yeah. The energy in here is so palpable. It's really, really nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, man. Jersey, you know I love you, sis. Come here for a second. Jersey, you back there?
Okay. I'm here, I'm here.
Come here, come here, come here.
Yes.
You know you my hype man for a reason. She'll make her way out here. We like to dance.
Yo, I just need y'all to know we got SINNN on the
I've been
stage
waiting
right
for
now.
a chance like this, and so I took it. Opportunity to speak on beats and be specific for the underdogs. Overweight, under height, overage. Never let them hear you rap because you always felt afraid. Well, here I am, your beacon of hope. I am sent past the words that the deacon to quote. Perceive that you're broke, starving, teeth in foam. Until you want it that bad, you ain't leaving home. Each to his own, my wordplay touches his form. It makes a phony exercise before you step to the throne. Yo, be free Ghana, I'm African born. And in my 30-something years, I hit my finalist form. Hard of course when I spit like Tiger is home. I was born into royalty, white fight for the throne. I'm a king amongst men, into some unknown. It's no biggie. I was born to shine, no Sean Combs. Beware of the boogeyman, Mothman prophecies. Demon of the night, snatch your heart, Mephistopheles. I live intersectional with dual dichotomies. Let's talk about life's existential philosophies. To live is to die, my name. And so I punch all rounds, kick something like a Norris flick. I'm on the mic, something gon' die, horror clip. Your piece of the pie depends on the sort you pick. The sort you click, and then ride out for war. Either stand up now or get put on the floor, because time is money and nobody wants to waste it. Bitter pills, life fed us all, and we taste it. That's poetic, but when simply put, I mean we all felt pain. Don't judge that book. I'm thinking knight to F4, guard your rook. You wanna see real evil, then starve a crook. I am knowledge personified, lyrically lobotomized. Fake rap cats, even if I get vilified. Boss for the exercise, battle then I weaponize and eat killers. Death by cannibal, homicide is clear. I'm a disco guy, real eye appeal.
epitomize. Basquiat's brush, I paint a picture you can visualize. Money can incentivize the killer and intimidates her. Saying with his chest and show hard, this time it's synchronized. Things fell around and so I packed it, authorized. I should be immortalized, feeling rap demoralized. I brought back feeling to the game, desensitized. Sin, that's who I be. They gon' hate until I can't speak, like Muhammad Ali.
Let them know.
They gon' hate until I can't speak, Muhammad Ali. Let go.
Let them.
Make some noise for yourselves. You're black. You're black, Parker, you're beautiful. But as one community in Vermont, we all beautiful. Go!
SINN. Come here, SINN. Y'all see how SINN set me up? Hold up, DJ. Y'all see how SINN set me up?
Hold on. In case you don't already follow me, it's one word, Ghana to America. No numbers, all letters. Ghana to America on everything. Tag me in something if you posted it.
Hey. You set me up, SINN. Check it. That was a setup. I haven't even known SINN a year. Look at my DJ. We outside! Listen, I met SINN last September for the first African Landing Day. And he was like, Jersey, come out with me on this night. I came out with him. He gave me the mic, and I started hyping him. He was like, oh, you are officially my hype man. Setup. A whole setup. So we had a change in program, so give me 1 second.
Blessings all for my life and my thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah. And gratitude is a must. Yeah. Blessings fall by my right hand.
So right now, I want to bring to the stage Counselor Ani J. Y'all make some noise.
Thank you all so much for being here, and welcome to the land of Abenakis. Yep, my name is Ali Jang, originally from Mauritania, West Africa. I immigrated here in 2007 and live in the city of Burlington since 2008. And I am an elected official, a city councillor, being the first African, being first elected in Burlington as city councillor. Yeah. So, like my sister just said, there is a change in programs, but I want to send you in 2 different areas. Look for my TED Talk on YouTube. Just type Ali Jang and you'll see what I'm talking about, why it's important for Vermont to respect and acknowledge the contribution of new Americans in the great state of Vermont. Yep. Or you can go to VT Digger and see my piece titled Together, Vermont Must Renew Civic Engagement, Strengthen Trust, Civility, Democratic Decision-Making, and empower young Vermonters and new Americans. You can read it on VT Digger as well. So, REIB, if it exists in this city, it's because of my efforts as an elected official. I participated meaningfully to work with the Vermont Racial Justice Alliance to bring this much-needed department in the city, and I'm currently the chair of the Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging for the city of Burlington. I'm proud of that work. Yes. But today, I'm here as a co-founder of the Vermont New American Advisory Council. And our president could not make it here today. But let me tell you a little bit about us and what we do. The Vermont New American Advisory Council is a coalition of new American leaders striving to increase civic engagement, dismantle barriers, a sense of belonging, and expand opportunities for new Americans to strive economically, politically, in the state of Vermont. And we do it in collaboration with the city, with also ARP, many different wonderful community organizations in here. We belong. We are part of this community. Yes. There are layers to racism, to discrimination, but what we live on a daily basis is completely different from what African Americans and all the community groups experience. We are tired. We need to cope, and we need to be respected and acknowledged that our contribution here is meaningful. New Americans that are young, please, this is your state, this is your country, and it is up to you to bring the development that you want, because this land is for every single one. This is a land of immigrants, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Thank you. I'm going to keep it very short. Welcome again to the land of the Abenakis. And Angela Davis, welcome here. And if you don't live here, please make sure that you spend some money, support our businesses, especially the BIPOC businesses in the city of Burlington. Much love and respect to everyone. Thank you.
Grips on your ways, front way, back way. You know that I don't play. Streets not safe, but I never run away, even when I'm away. OT, OT, there's never much.
Y'all, I'm so excited for these next performers. We gonna turn the lights on out here because we about to do something a little different. Hey, I love that my DJ twerks. That thing, how you spin it on both ends. She is talented. So, told y'all they don't pay me enough. I am excited for these next entertainers. Please give it up for A2VT.
Check, mic check, mic check, 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 check. You hear me now?
They don't like us, now we know that.
Come on!
We never stop, now they know that.
Say what?
When they ask me, this is what I told them.
Yeah, come on, come.
Yes, I'm a soul survivor. I'm a soul survivor. Yes, come on. I'm a soul survivor. Everywhere I go, now the people love me. Yes, come on. I'm a soul survivor. I'm a soul survivor, yes. I'm a soul survivor. Everywhere I go. Ready? I'm just a young man coming from the street, looking for a way to get out of this heat. Sun so hot, my time is in the way. I gotta find a key to help me. yeah. Go crazy, yeah. When I say A2, you say VT with me, right? A2, yeah. Come on. I'm so survivor. Say it with me. So survivor, yes. I'm so survivor. Say what? Yes, I'm so survivor. I'm a soul survivor, yes. I'm a soul survivor. She's a lover, yes. I'm a soul survivor. I'm a soul survivor, yes. I'm a soul survivor. I'm a soul survivor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate. I go by the name Jilip. Hold on, I'm gonna let you clap.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You guys are beautiful.
Huh. I go by the name Saeed. I'm from Somali. I'm not the pirate, I'm the farmer. You got me? All right. This is ROD. We did the single a couple years ago. Since then, he's been working with us. He's from Florida. Huh.
Yeah! 813 Tampa, Florida in the building.
Let's go.
Speed up real over the sea.
And that's Draken right there, straight from Congo. Draken is also artist too. Yeah.
Cute.
How we feeling today? How we doing? All right. When I say A2, you say VT, and then I'm gonna walk out the stage, okay? I don't think I got much time, because they didn't give me that much time. Things always behind.
We
Never
got
time.
It's Juneteenth. We got color people
All right, we got another song? We got time for another song?
We don't. I love you.
Well, A2,
VT,
A2,
VT,
A2,
VT.
A2.
Hey, thank you guys.
Turn up.
Yeah.
Yes, but as you guys know, you can catch A2VT tomorrow during the full Juneteenth celebration. They have a whole hour set, so it's a party. We lit. Y'all make some, just look around. We outside. Let me tell you what I like. I like when people know the assignment. You know the assignment. This a group project and you the only person that did your part, okay? You remember that. Let me tell you what I'm excited about is that your DJ, not only is she a DJ, she is a Grammy-nominated poet. She goes by the name Queen Sheba. She is internationally known, and it was a blessing to be able to have her here for Juneteenth because I felt it was important for the youth here to be able to see her and know that you can be an artist and live the life that you want and be successful at it. And she is tatted from head to toe. She runs every day. She's like a superwoman. So y'all give it up and make some noise for your DJ of the weekend, DJ Queen Sheba.
We are the women. We are our mother's mistake and our father's denial gone global now. We are the Surah in the Psalms. We are the communication link between the Bible and the Quran. We are the secret message in the slave spirituals. The treasure hunt to our conjugal visits, oh, I can feel it. Riding the back of raindrops, licking my brow full of sweat and malfunction. We are the kickback from the shotgun butt on your shoulder. We are Nat Turner's last sane thought before the voices woke him up from that blackout blood on his machete in hands, pieces of flesh stuck between his toes. We wear the bruises as medals of honor. This time we red dot our target. We are circa 1934, Thurgood Marshall's test scores. We are the Tallahatchie River, filling Emmett Till's wounds with fish scale and coral, gently carrying his body to Graceland. We are the riots you'll never remember. The chip off the old granite, the perfect edges of marble, the slivers of stainless steel, leaving history behind in every fingerprint. We are the elderly lovers on the second plane. During 9/11, they clasp and their fingers beneath their sound. They clasp their fingers while making their sounds go down. We are the women. We are the Abenaki, Apache, Appalachie, Barrel, Bikini Barrel, Bila, Omo Cherokee, Omo people. We are the women. We are breakdancing as a tribal tradition. No more passing the American go buck or doe or elk that only visit us at dusk. We are the intelligence in Lil Wayne's wit. We are the public lynching with this fiasco with Michael Vick. We are the Jews that hide beneath the stairs, the slaves that hide beneath the stars, the priests that hide beneath their cross. We are the millions on death row earning a degree. We are the Gina 6. We are only as strong as our latest execution. We are the 5%ers, the 12%ers, the 4,400, the heroes. We are the Mary Magdalene, the village soldiers. We are that blue thing on X-Men that changes to whatever the fuck she wants to. We are the keep your head up when we've been demoted to wifey and shouty every 12 minutes on 8 different stations. We are the chicken frying, whole meal making Sunday through Thursday. We ask our partners before accusing them of cheating, bounce a newborn on our hip, boil a bottle, check our emails, MySpace, Blackberries, correct homework, check homework, find the Forge report card, counsel about safe sex to your teenagers after finding condoms and what they thought was a hiding place when nothing in a woman's house is a hiding place. Little do they know we were 16 once. Get dressed, get them dressed, fix their ponytails, explain to your middle child that a free lunch card doesn't mean you're poor. It means you're saving up to be rich. We are the women. We are the women. This is not vote or die. This is run into the voting houses and graffiti the walls, ransack their ballots and Xerox our democracy 1,482 times per inmate and flip the bird to the Kinko's attendant waiting behind the counter to collect on paper owed to us. So find, search, dream, execute, thrust your arms out of socket and have a presence. Because Gandhi's message is not a mantra, but a warning. Be the change you want to see in the world because no one else is coming. They've lost our addresses. We don't live close enough to the sponsors to be on MapQuest. We'll have to MacGyver our way with a paperclip, an old shoe, and a battery. Because God will give you the gift. God will give you the gift, but you'll never know what it is unless you open it. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. I love y'all. Have a great weekend.
Hey. Y'all keep making some noise. Stay activated. Stay activated. Get ready to play Brown Skin Girl. I'm going to talk about our panelists, but give me a second. Y'all like that? Yes. I want to give a shout out to SINNN. Because I told SINNN I was cold, so as you see, I got a quick costume change. I was like, I'm cold. He said, wait 1 minute. Okay. You said what? Okay. I need that. So, y'all having a good time? It is an honor and a pleasure to not only host the Black Experience, but to be able to facilitate this panel discussion with such amazing and influential Black women. On our panel, we have Dr. Jackie Hunter, Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer at the University of Vermont Health Network. We have Zoraya Hightower, Executive Director of the Peace and Justice Center and the first woman of color to serve on the Burlington City Council. We also have Kiah Morris, Executive Director of Rights and Democracy, Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Specialist, Artist, and Author. DJ, I need you to do something special for me, not just for the queens on the stage, but for the brown-skinned girls in the audience.
Brown skin girl.
Thank you.
Skin just like pearl.
You better stand up right now. I need y'all to stay active.
For anybody else in the brown skin girl. Skin just like pearl. The best thing in the world. I never trade you for anybody else singing.
She says she really grew up poor like me. Don't believe in nothing but the Almighty. Just a little jeans and a pure whitey. She never did forever be nobody wifey. Yeah. She will I mean a pretty but your heart is a miss. Play you like a villain cause she caught in a way. Tonight I am walking away. 9 to 5 mine and a grind, yeah. Tonight I might fall in love. Depending on how you hold me.
Put your hands
I'm
up.
glad that I'm calming down.
Hey,
no one can control me. Keep dancing and call it love. She fights it by falling slowly. If
Thank you,
ever
DJ
are
Queen
in
Sheba.
doubt, remember what mama
We are
told me.
honored to have Angela Y. Davis, author. Y'all save some of that for when she hit the stage. Let me do my job. Let me do my job. Author of 10 books, a founding member of Critical Resistance, a national organization dedicated to the dismantling of the prison industrial complex. Internationally, she is affiliated with Sisters Inside, an abolitionist organization based in Queensland, Australia, that works in solidarity with women in prison. It is an honor, it is a pleasure, it is a blessing that within this lifetime that we will have this amazing opportunity. You know I can't see you, right? Stretch it out 1 minute? Oh. 'Cause listen, y'all, I'm a real person. They were backstage with production. I'm about to stretch it out for real and talk about y'all. They was Jay was backstage. He was like, I was like, no, close the curtain. It's okay. Raise the lights. We got it. It's all right. They got to set up the stage. Who cares? We're black. We make shit happen. Period. Look, when they're ready, do this. Just raise your hand. Because real quick, DJ Queen Sheba, give me something. Thank you. Talk about me later, cousins. Okay. I can't see, but I can hear, all right? Okay, I'm an ear hustler. What? Oh, and my heart dropped because the presence, when I say I didn't even see, but I felt. And then when I saw, I see. Please, I'm gonna stand up.
I'm glad that I'm calming down. Can't let no one come control me. Keep dancing and call it love. She fighting but falling slowly. If ever you are in doubt, remember what mama told me. Brown skin girl, your skin just like girls. Your back against the world. I never tried you.
She said that is enough. Welcome, Miss Davis. I am a comedian, so let me know when too much is too much, okay?
No, I was applauding the crowd, and then we sit down.
Yes, beautiful. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Burlington, Vermont. So introducing you guys to your panel this evening, we have Dr. Jackie Hunter, we have Kiah Morris, and we have Zoraya Hightower. Beautiful Black women, and Miss Angela Davis. I am your facilitator for this evening. I go by Jersey Mulan, and I am blessed to be here this evening. So we are just gonna jump around. I know everyone received these questions, so are we ready? Now, following the many events of 2020, we saw an upswell of white allyship, solidarity actions, funding initiatives, and professionalization of diversity, equity, and inclusion services in public and private sectors. Yet, we are in the midst of a backlash led by institutions that were never invested in the level of meaningful, radical change needed for collective liberation. How do we best hold these actors accountable to actualize their many promises? This is for anyone. We're gonna have, this is open. Ms. Davis, I'm gonna allow you the opportunity.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, good evening, everyone. And it's really wonderful to be here in Burlington once again. I've been here a few times visiting the university, and I'm so happy to be able to join you in the celebration of Juneteenth, the celebration of liberation and the ongoing battle to be free. So, having said that, you know, I really wish I could see the audience. Oh yeah, now I can. Thank you all for coming. And I mean, it's wonderful that there was a backup plan for the theater, but what is this all about? I forgot to bring my winter coat, you know? And we all know it's about global warming, right? I mean, it may not be warm here, but most of the country is experiencing temperatures the likes of which they've never seen before. So let's be aware of the climate issues as we engage in this conversation about what it might mean to be free. Now, what I'd like to begin by saying is that there has never been a moment in the history of this country where when Black people or other populations of color or working class people, regardless of their ethnic background, there has never been a moment when we have moved in the direction of freedom when there hasn't also been a so-called backlash. So let's remember that. We should not have been surprised by the ways in which the conservative forces attempted to generate the kind of negative analysis and regrouping of the forces of destruction. I mean, we know that a lot of what generated the collective consciousness that we experienced over the last couple of years, especially in the aftermath of the police lynching of George Floyd and the horrendous murder of Breonna Taylor, that awareness of the structural character of police violence is something that we should have recognized. Well, some of us did recognize it. As a matter of fact, there have been people who've been talking about structural racism ever since the end of slavery. That's like 150 years ago. And it has taken the larger population this long to recognize that racism is not about some white person saying they don't like black people. You know, it's not a character flaw. It's not a defect that can be resolved by going to unlearning racism workshops. It is about the structural racism that is inscribed in all of the institutions of this country. And regardless of whether there are people who say they like or don't like black people, that system functions. You know, that is why we can't assume that simply addressing one individual instance of racist police violence is going to solve the problem. And that's what people recognized when George Floyd was lynched. But at the same time, there's the Benevolent Order of Police, the fraternal, all of these police unions, which really aren't unions at all. They are designed to, you know, justify the worst kind of violence. And let's not forget that this whole conversation about gun violence is also about the police. You know, even though we focus on civilian ownership of guns, it's very much connected with the violence that has been meted out to communities of color, indigenous communities, black communities, Latinx communities by the police. Anyway, I'm talking too long.
Not at all. Not at all.
And that's just, I think, the preface for the question. But, you know, having said that, I'll be brief for the second part, the last part of my response, and that is that we cannot forget that in the summer of 2020, more people went out in the streets and demonstrated than ever before in the history of this country. Let's not forget that. In this country, we are urged to adopt a stance of historical amnesia. As soon as something has happened, we figure that, okay, that's last year's news, right? Let's forget about it. But that was an amazing moment. It was a moment of promise. By itself, it did not necessarily accomplish anything, but it holds the possibilities for moving in the direction of freedom. So we cannot forget. We can't forget that more white people went out in the streets in the summer of 2020 than ever before in the history of this country. So that tells us that it is possible to build a movement for radical change in this country. Let's never forget that. And I think that's what this gathering is all about. Yeah, where
Absolutely.
do we go from here?
So, Ms. Davis, with that being said, 2 pandemics hit us in 2020, COVID-19 and the civil unrest. Do you think progress has been made since then in terms of addressing long-standing systematic inequities across the nation? If so, what are some challenges that you see that affect our progress? Kiah. Because Ms. Davis said she was making it short, so I was giving her a break.
I appreciate the opportunity to answer this question, and also recognizing the expertise of people who have been integral to making it possible for Black and brown people to survive this pandemic over this decade. This has not been a problem that just started with COVID. It was a glaring indicator of how much of a failure that our healthcare system has been. And that is not to diminish the incredible work of people who are in the healthcare field, but healthcare is not even a human right in this country. And recognizing that even though we do have expansive healthcare here in Vermont, it is not in any way sufficient for what's necessary to deal with the tests that we've had in front of us. So we had this pandemic that threw everything on its head, and on top of folks who are most impacted by many of the overlapping crises that we're probably going to talk about today, including the climate crisis that Dr. Davis spoke about, it's also very powerful to think about how those most impacted have been surviving all along without the supports that they needed. And so it made fighting for our very lives feel like an exhausting impossibility, because we're seriously here looking at the fact that we aren't safe on the streets, and many of us don't see law enforcement as our place that we go to for safety or protection in a time when violence is spiking because people are so damn desperate, and we live in a culture and a country that loves and cherishes its violence, but that we also can't feed our families substantially. People that were in the service sector could no longer work because there are places that they were employed by literally shut down. And so the people who needed 3 and 4 jobs just to make it work had 0 in an instant. So where do we find the fortitude and the strength and the energy to push through? So what I feel is the problem as to why we haven't made what I would imagine. Like, this was our chance. This was our opportunity. We put in mutual aid networks. If people needed food, we were delivering it. If you needed somebody to get your meds, we found it. If your grandma needed a ride, we made it happen. And as soon as 1, 2, 3, we forgot about it, and all those systems shut down, and we're preparing for yet another wave with this series of violence, I believe, that's going to cause us to have to reactivate these systems that were great for a moment, made people feel real special for that second, that they were doing something, but those that actually hold the power to make it an actual systemic change were completely and wholly uninterested in making happen.
So, Dr. Hunter, I would love for you to really address what Kiah just said from a medical standpoint and what it looks like psychologically across the nation since 2020.
No, I appreciate that. So, first, I'm Black. And
Hello.
18 years ago, I almost lost my life because of Black maternal health. It didn't matter my education. It didn't matter my socioeconomic class. I was Black. And I spent 3 days septic. And so for those that don't understand what septic is, that means you have bacteria that's went to your bloodstream, and you can die. So for 3 days, I watched my mom sit in the corner, not sure if she was going to lose her child. And I was educated. It didn't matter, because that doctor was too busy ready to go on a vacation to hear me. It took my white professor to come up to the hospital and say, you need to do a blood panel. If it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would be here today. I had to go into quarantine, what we know quarantine is today. A PICC line to my heart because it got that bad. 10 days of isolation, I couldn't nurse my child. So I was a victim of the system for which I was trying to do better in. So my why, and as we think about the pandemic, as we saw all of these hot spots, and we didn't know what COVID was. We kept hearing all this rhetoric. It's seasonal. It's this. And then we started to notice Black and brown people, their outcomes, they were losing their lives at an astronomical rate. And 20 years ago, the National Academy of Medicine did a study 20 years ago in regards to unfair treatment of Black and brown people. 20 years ago. And so when we talk about where we are today, it's really important that for those that are not maybe in my space, but those who also have and have those seats in the room, start to look at the data. Start to dig deep. Start to stratify that data, regardless if there's a small insize here in Vermont in regards to Black and brown people. We're here. And so we have to understand, looking at breast cancer screenings, looking at colonoscopies, how can we start to look at that? And then how can we go out into the community and educate? Because we may not feel safe coming into the hospital. I didn't. 2 kids later, I refused to have another child in the hospital. I had them at home. Because I couldn't trust the system. And again, I grew up in the system. That's my job. So what drives me today is my experiences. Because I don't want anyone else to go through what I had to go through. Serena Williams, Allison Felix, and me, little old me. I could have lost my life. And so as we think about that, my goal is to educate as much as I can and use my voice, because I didn't have my voice a long time ago. Because I didn't want to, we had to code switch, I know we talked about that earlier. Had to decide what face I was gonna put on when I went into that boardroom, because I was the only one. And then sometimes still now, I'm the only one. But I will continue to use my voice and advocate, because I know what it feels like to go into the hospital and your voice isn't heard. So that's something I will commit to as we move forward, and that's, we have to have more people using that voice and understand those lived experiences, because it can happen to any of us, and it's painful. And so understand that pain, that's what we have to be able to go forward and help change.
Thank you. So, Zoraya, in the midst of our pain and the need for action, we often create movement messiahs who are tasked with leading societal revolutions of all sizes. This is a losing strategy, as leaders may come and go or be foreseeably removed from their places of power, sometimes leaving the work behind to flounder. How may we better embody distributed power, people-centered demands, and influence so that our movements are enduring?
I can feel my heart already beating just getting this question. I think this is probably something everybody on this stage has at some point experienced. Kiah's gotten the call from me going, I don't know what to do, I'm scared, I don't know where to go. I'm not gonna cry. And I think that it's hard because and I know that lots of people in the car at Harmony, I don't know this, but I know that she's had the same thing. And so I think we try to build power in a way that is across us, right? The Battery Park movement did such a good job with this, where they were like, we will have our meetings and we will speak as a collective and you will not know who made the decisions because we made it collectively. And that can be really hard to do. That can be really hard to maintain, because when so much of what we do is fed from anger, right? We had the quick burn. We had everybody's support. We had allies shielding us. We had all of these things, and then we didn't. And then what? Then you have to be the person. We had a whole thing in Vermont where we tried to pass qualified immunity, right? A whole movement that nobody knew about. And that meant that when the mayor of Burlington went and said, no, we do not want qualified immunity. Do not do this. This will be bad, bad, bad for everyone. Nobody said boo. And you can't always be the person that goes up and calls people out for doing the wrong thing, because that puts you at risk. That's a dangerous place to be in, is when all you can do is call out what's happening. And so what that means that we have to do is have that collective vision, right? Have that collective power and say, no, 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 we have a different vision, and to keep doing that. Because otherwise you have the status quo and you just have individual people calling out the status quo. And when you call out people, that's when you're in danger, right? Because that's when you're targeting somebody else and saying, no, that's not okay, we won't let you do that anymore. But when you have a whole movement that's saying, forget call out, forget calling out this person, this is what we want. We are all here for a vision. So I think it's having the vision and having the collective power behind it. And that requires organizing, that requires showing up when it's not sexy. And that means picking your issue, knowing what it's about, and being there. Being there when there's a leader there, be like, actually, I'll be with you. I'm going to stand right next to you. It's not because I want to be in the limelight. It's because I'm going to make sure that it's not just you standing there alone.
Thank you. Ms. Davis, I want to ask you the same question. How may we better embody distributed power, people-centered demands, and influence so that our movements are enduring?
Well, I really appreciate, what's your name? Zoraya. I really appreciate Zoraya's comments. And I want to point out that when we assume that leadership is going to be individual, that it's about the most charismatic figure, which is kind of, you know, what at least Black people have done for a very long time. If we, you know, think about who the leaders of Black struggles were, we come up with a long list of names from Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, right? And
Willa Davis.
Well,
Let's not forget to mention.
No, I have never imagined myself as a part of that group.
Really?
You know why? Because people are aware of my name because of the struggle that unfolded 50 years ago when I was in jail, when I was facing the death penalty 3 times. And see, that's what we forget. We forget that power lies with masses of people. And I will never forget that I would not be sitting here this evening if it weren't for the fact that vast numbers of people, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, all over the country, all over the world, most of whom I will never have the opportunity to meet in my life, are responsible for the fact that I'm here today. And when people assume that I am a leader, it erases the collective power of masses of people. It erases internationalism. So I'm always very clear about that. I never wanted to be a person who was up front speaking like this. That was never what I sought to do. I aspired to be the kind of organizer who would make a difference. I got through an accident of history, you know, I ended up in this position. I just happened to be the one who was singled out by the government. It could have been someone else. And I'm trying to use that accident of history to, you know, try to do the work that accomplishes the building of a movement with a more collective leadership. So I've never done anything by myself. I have never done anything that is at all important as an individual. It's always been with others. And so, you know, what I want to suggest is that what Ella Baker said back in the 1950s and the 1960s about collective leadership, that we need to listen to her argument. And I think that is what Zoraya was talking about. And that is why we ended up having this historical moment when vast numbers of people did the work that made it very clear that there is dissatisfaction with the conventional political leadership of this country, that there is awareness of the fact that the police do not provide protection for everyone, maybe for a small minority of the population, but that the structures of policing and the structures of imprisonment, the carceral structures, are perhaps the most visible forms of structural racism in this country. And so, you know, the point that I wanted to make is that that notion of leadership, the notion of individualistic, charismatic leadership is also a masculinist notion. And it shields, it conceals the fact that in terms of the Black movement, it's always been Black women who have organized this, always. You know, and it's true in other countries too. It's the Palestinian women, it's the Kurdish women, it's the South African women. And I think those men who acknowledge that are at the forefront of history. Yeah, this is where we are, and we're at a conjuncture, a historical conjuncture. And I think whether we move forward will depend on whether we accept or reject the ways in which the powers that be are attempting to relegate this vast uprising among not only Black people and people of color, but among white people in this country to relegate that to the past. We refuse to relegate it to the past. We know what the future can bring.
Thank you. Ms. Davis, I don't know about everyone else, but like every time you speak, I just feel like I'm being baptized. Thank you. So, I told you I don't get paid enough. So, okay. New England is well known for its whiteness and vulnerability to violent white nationalist movements and organizations. For many who hold Black or non-white identities who live, work, and play in Vermont, their hypervisibility may create a resistance to engage in activism or demand change. What are your recommendations for connecting and activating those concerned about their survival just as much as their safety? Kiah.
Right, so thank you for those of you who are like, oh, right, that's kind of her story right there, right? But it's not just my story. It's everybody's story here. It's very difficult when you're in these spaces. When I first moved to Vermont, for example, I remember the excitement of seeing like 2 Black brothers in a coffee shop and being like, oh my God, it's a convention. What's up? Where are my people? Why are you hiding? And I came to learn over the years that's exactly what was happening. Is that folks who identify as being BIPOC and holding visible racial identities were hiding in their homes, trying to I just want to live here in Vermont. I want to have my mountains and my trees and my chickens in my backyard. I don't want no trouble. I want the police to leave me alone. My kids are doing fine. All of these things. There was this sort of illusion that people had of a sense of safety around this community in a way that didn't make sense, right? And when I was able to have the privilege of being able to be in the position I was in and became a target in the ways that I did, it made everybody pay attention, like, wait. Literally, one of the most powerful Black women below the governor is being terrorized in her very home, in her community, with the support of the police. How am I safe? Oh, wait a minute, you mean my kids have been experiencing racism this whole time and I didn't think about it, and I am experiencing discrimination within my work and I didn't realize it, and it becomes this piece where people see their vulnerability. And so part of the problem is what Zoraya was speaking about, it's what Dr. Davis was speaking about. It's this piece of if you choose to come into this work, you are going to be noticed. And people fear that. People fear that openly, right? So when they said, why didn't you run for Congress or governor? I say, my mom remembers January 6th, and she would like a few years where she doesn't have to worry about whether or not I'm gonna die every day. Right? So when this is what's happening in the conversations within my own family home, of mother who, raised in the Black movement, Nation of Islam, all these places still saying this country still sees a violent reaction to those who need to do this work and to speak their voices, to silence them with violence, it makes it really hard to pull people into this movement. So for me, the solutions are going to have to be people-centered. I'm safe today because of the mutual aid networks that were put together by beautiful Black and brown people who made sure there were safe homes, so that if you needed to go somewhere, you had some place to be. It was because of the willingness of my employer, now that I'm here in charge of it though, saying, can we bring in security specialists, because our volunteers in our movement, our members, our staff, our board are also being threatened just for their proximity to your Blackness. Right? So if we are asking people to step into this work, we have to show them how it's not transactional, that we're just here for your voice, for your body, but that we are truly invested in making sure you are okay and your wholeness is okay, because we need you, or otherwise it's just going to be folks popcorning and changing. So that is the piece that we have to change, that relationship of how we ask people to be into activism. Is that I don't just need you to sign a petition or put your body on the line in a protest, but how do I make sure you're okay after that moment so that you can be healed and get back into this fight too?
Thank you. Because that question was very specific to New England and Vermont, Zoraya, I would love for you to touch on that as well. One thing that I've been able to experience within the community is that the Black community here moves as a collective, which is beautiful. So can you touch on that as well?
Can you say the question again? I lost Kiah's.
No, it is okay. What are your recommendations for connecting and activating those concerned about their survival just as much as their safety?
Yeah, I think it's hard, because I think Kiah spoke to this. It's how do you show up when you're worried about your own safety at work? How do you show up for the next thing? How do you show up for the next thing? How do you show up when you're sick and now you've got to deal with all these health problems and navigating a health system that wasn't meant for you? And I think, to me, that's where the vision comes from, right? It's like, okay, yeah, you've got health problems. That's part of our vision, right? We shouldn't be dealing with you needing to call 10 different people to try to get this one thing that your doctor ordered for you covered. You should just be able to get that covered, right? It has to be part of the vision. Care needs to be part of the vision. It's not just about fighting. It's about collectively taking care of each other because of what we know, because we know what we need. And I don't know that that is a Vermont-specific question. I feel like that's like a, right? Like you said, it's like that's the same thing Palestinian women are dealing with. It's the same thing South African women are dealing with. This is a problem that we're all dealing with. And so I think we're starting to build, right, we're starting to build those organizations. We're like, well, I can't find an organization that treats me the way that I want to be treated, so I guess I'm going to have to lead one by myself and make sure that people are being treated in this organization. And that is both beautiful, and I'm glad that we get to do that, and that sucks. That really sucks. And so I think, and sometimes, and I think I said this in my speech too, but sometimes I'm in these spaces where people are like, oh, this is what we want, and then they just complain about the fact that we're not there yet. And I think sometimes it's like we just got to step up and do the work. And it's not me that needs to do the work, and it's not Kiah that needs to do the work, because we're working on it. We're trying. It's we all have to collectively step up. And I think that's what Vermont is starting to look like, right? This is what that looks like. Because 2 years ago, it would have been like that group of women right there that would have all been together, that I would have spent my Juneteenth with, and now it's all of these people. Which means that next time that there's a big issue, Kiah and I and all of us are gonna call you and we're gonna be like, hey, we need your help. If you don't help us do this, it's not gonna happen. Because the status quo is going to be there. The status quo is not sustainable for us, right? It's sustainable for a lot of people. It's not sustainable for us. And so when we say, hey, today's the day we need you to show up. We need you to show up and tell the governor not to veto this bill. We need you to show up and take care of this person who does not feel safe. We need you to show up and feed this community that right now is being evicted from their homes. We have to show up. We have to care enough to show up when the people who are putting their bodies on the line are not doing well.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Hunter, some people think that the North, representing the liberal who is passive, racist, and or adopts a savior mentality, is worse than the South, representing the outright and unapologetically racist, right? What is behind that thinking, and how should we think about it?
Ooh, that's a great question. So, I'm born and raised in South Carolina. So, I've been here on and off since October, and it's different. And just to be honest, it's different. And I remember growing up in the South. My parents grew up in times in segregation, Jim Crow, and we lived on a certain side of the railroad tracks. I remember going to elementary school with my good friends, and all of a sudden middle school hits. It's like, wait, why do I have to get bused 20 minutes away to go to middle school? And so I say that because I'm not that old. It wasn't that long ago. So when I think about South Carolina and the South versus the New England area, I knew where I stood. I knew what places not to go. I know where not to stop. And that came from my parents. Here, what I feel, when I got off the plane in September for a recruitment visit, I saw more Black Lives Matter signs than I saw Black and brown people. And to be 100% honest with you, I was nervous. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I wasn't. As I walked down Church Street, I saw a Black Lives Matter sign in the store. In my brain, I'm thinking, oh, okay, I'm gonna feel welcomed, and I'm not gonna get followed around the store. People are gonna speak and say hello. That wasn't the case. I didn't get spoken to at all. And it made it click for me. If I was in South Carolina, I would have known, because I know where I stand there. So what I feel here in the New England area is that oftentimes, what I've noticed in a short period of time, there's maybe a facade in regards to what's reality. Versus in South Carolina, I know where I can and can't go after a certain period of time. I know what stores I can and cannot go into. And I know they're not gonna serve me and or speak to me in 2022. But as I walk down Church Street and some other areas, I expected something different, because it's Vermont. It's a liberal state. And it's everyone all for Black and brown people. But you don't speak to me when I'm in the store. You don't say hello. My money spends just like the other. And I may can afford that $400 dress that I was looking at. But you judged me based on my yoga pants and my t-shirt and my hat that I had on. And so I say that is because that's real. That was just a few months ago. And so we have to get past this. If you're gonna be with me, and speak up in those spaces when I'm not there. That's true allyship.
Thank you. Ms. Davis, I would love to know your thoughts on what is behind the thinking and how should we think about it?
About this issue?
Yes, this issue.
Well, I don't know if I have a straightforward answer. I grew up in the South as well. I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, which... All right. Is Birmingham in the house? Okay. Okay, we'll talk later. I went to high school in New York. And while I really appreciate the years I spent in New York, I also went to college outside of Boston, so in New England. And you know, I don't know whether I would choose any one of those circumstances, you know? I mean, yeah, it's true. We knew where we stood in Birmingham. And, you know, I always like to tell the story of the fact that as kids, we tried to challenge those limits. So we incorporated into our games a challenge to the limits of segregation, literally, because my family lived right on the border of the black community. And we were legally disallowed from crossing the street. And so as kids, we developed this game where we would dare each other to run across the street into the white neighborhood. And if you were really, really bold, you would not only run across the street, you would run up some white person's steps and ring the doorbell and try to make it back home without being caught. So when people ask me about my first experience as an activist, in New York, I learned an amazing amount about the history of this country, ideas, philosophy, and so forth. But I was always a little nervous because I was, you know, I have friends whom I went to high school with. I don't know whether any of you have heard of KIbuey, who was. She spent about 25 years in prison. She was one of the she was a member of the Weather Underground. So she and I were in the same class. And later we did a lot of anti-prison work, abolitionist work over the last period. But there were some students in my class who, you know, always invited me to come home with them for dinner and so forth. And then the parents would kind of nervously ask the black maid, in those days, you know, all the domestic help was black, ask the black maid to join them for dinner, which was like, I didn't have the vocabulary at that time, but I knew something was really wrong. You know, I knew that was racism masquerading in a different way. So I really don't know which situation I would choose. I would suggest that we have to challenge all of the situations and recognize that there's no ideal arena for struggle. Wherever we turn, there are going to be issues and problems, and that, as a matter of fact, every place can be an arena of struggle. You know, oftentimes we assume that it's easier to be involved if one is not inside of an institution. People ask me, how is it that you managed to stay within the university for so long? And my response is, it's like anything else. I know that the university is complicit in the production and reproduction of racism. And I know that I have to challenge that complicity at the same time as I have to try to help, you know, younger people, my students, learn how to think and learn about the relationship between theory and practice, and learn how to challenge not only the racism beyond the boundaries of the university, but how to challenge the university as well, even as they take advantage of the knowledge production that goes on within the university. So it's always about straddling contradictions. It's always about being aware of difference and contradictions. It's never about choosing the most ideal place. There's not a best position for anyone who wants to bring down racism and capitalism and heteropatriarchy in this country. There's never an ideal spot. We do it where we are, and yeah.
Thank you. So we are going to move to our final question that we're going to start with Zoraya and then move to Kiah. Zoraya. Cousins. We had a sidebar conversation. Let me live.
You all a cousin?
No.
Oh. Yes. The names are cousins.
Yes.
The names are cousins. We're all cousins.
Thank you.
We're all related.
Then we're going to move to Dr. Hunter and then, of course, Ms. Davis. So the question is, what is our vision for a future with Black liberation, and how does that tie to our ideals of equity and equality?
Black is beautiful. In a world where everyone sees color, because we are here, and it's beautiful. And I think, right, that is the complexity of the world that we live in, right? Is because I want the murder of George Floyd to go to prison, and I want to abolish prisons. And holding both of those things and working towards a goal when you know that the end goal looks very different, and holding both of those realities, I think that's the vision, right? Not being afraid to get up in the morning and say, I will work, and I will protest to do this thing that has nothing to do with the collective liberation that I'm working for. I will do this thing because that is as close as I am going to be able to get us, and I will talk to my children, and I will talk to my neighbors, and I will talk to my allies about what the goal is, and keep the eye on the ultimate goal. And that is hard to encapsulate in 10 words, and I'm not gonna do it. But we know what's up here, right? We know what that looks like. We don't know how to get there, but we know, oh, this is what I have to get up and do tomorrow morning, right? This is the thing I have to get up and do tomorrow morning. And I'm gonna do it because I know that it's gonna get me to this world that I believe in, where human rights aren't questioned, where Black is beautiful in everyone's eyes.
Thank you.
I think one of the most powerful things that we can do as we're pushing for Black liberation is the acknowledgement that it is self-serving, but it will have dividends that support everyone. Because of our positionality, because of where we sit, especially within the United States, all of our fights get pushed behind every other identity that feels safer, easier, more accessible to want to work on. And so till we say to ourselves, so in the way that I'd heard you saying, we don't know, I'm going to counter that to say, we do. We've been looking at those burned out buildings and know exactly what we need to put in place there. We've thought about the cooperative economic model that's going to allow us to have collective budgeting for our state government. We understand what it's going to take to break the school-to-prison pipeline in our schools because we've been doing it all along, right? We just haven't been in the places and spaces of power to keep demanding that. And so for me, I feel like in order for us to reach that Black liberation, it does have to be self-serving, because we were brought here to serve others. So we're a little, we're not practiced at it. We're not practiced at it. But if we become practiced at it, then it helps others to be able to practice it themselves. And we get how it's not a zero-sum game.
Thank you.
So I think following my peers here, I think it's important that as we get into these spaces that we reach back. Because as we move and as we think about Black liberation, we need more, as you reference, in these spaces. And so how can we reach back sponsorship, mentorship, to give to others? Because they're looking at us as Black women to be able to know that it's possible. Remember when I first got here, someone referenced that they would stay because they saw someone break down that ceiling on the 3rd floor where I'm the only Black woman there. And grateful to have another woman of color and another white female on that floor with me, because it's hard. And so as we think about those spaces, we have to reach back. And it's important to have community. And we have to think about, as I think about health, we have to take care of our health. We have to demand more and not settle. We can't ignore those issues. It's so important, because for so long we think about, even going back to slavery, we had healthcare disparities. We had social determinants of health. All of this terminology that now we're coining, our ancestors had that. And so we have perseverance in our DNA, and we have to think about what they had to go through. And it's important for us to continue to fight and to continue to demand more, because we deserve more. And I think that's very important.
Thank you. Ms. Davis.
Well, first of all, I deeply appreciate what Zoraya and Kiah and Jackie have offered us. Thank you so much. And, well, what can I say? I think we need to keep in mind that we do not have the whole picture here. That we deserve so much more than we can possibly imagine. And sometimes I try to think about how Black people who were enslaved and were engaged in the struggle to bring down the institution of slavery, I try to think about how they might have imagined a different future. And we know they couldn't have imagined us here as we are today. But this is what they produced. And not only the modicum of freedom that we enjoy, but the capacity to think even more deeply about the nature of freedom. Because I don't think they could have imagined that we would today be talking about the absolute importance of defending Black trans women against the violence that they confront in so many aspects of their lives. But we have to be thankful to them for providing us with the opportunity and with the path that led us to that awareness. And I say that because I want us to think capaciously in a way that embraces that which we may not yet understand. And this is why I think art is so important in our movement, because music and visual art can sometimes allow us to feel what we haven't yet learned how to understand. You know, and when I've always been moved by Nina Simone singing, "I wish I knew how it would feel to be free." And as the oldest person up here, and generationality, multi-generationality is absolutely important in our struggle. But as the oldest person, you know, I can say that I never could have imagined this moment. You know, we've been talking about abolition, we've been talking about dealing with police violence. I mean, I'm 78 years old, and we have been talking about these issues all of my life. And I always learned how to imagine them being a part of a more general conversation later on. So I never actually imagined that I would get to experience this moment when abolitionist discourse would enter into the mainstream, and when people would be talking about alternatives to police and alternatives to prison and creating, you know, a different world. And I'm also happy that I'm here to be a witness for all of those who have not made it this far. Because they are the reason we're having this conversation now, today. And so in conclusion, I want to say that I don't think freedom is a destination. For a long time, I thought freedom was a destination, that it was a goal. But now I see it more as the journey itself. And that however many victories we win, there will be other dimensions of freedom that we will have to explore. And I think that is an infinite process. And I'm just thankful to have been a part of this small leg of a journey that will continue, that has continued for hundreds of years, and that if our earth is still habitable, will continue hundreds of years into the future.
Thank you.
And this is not my individual insight, so you don't need to be applauding me. Applaud all of those who made this insight possible.
Thank you. In closing, I want to thank Ms. Hightower, Ms. Morris, Dr. Hunter, Ms. Angela Davis. Thank you. New Wave and the Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Department of Burlington, Vermont would like to thank all of you for being present and experiencing the Black experience in Vermont. This is the first, and just to let you all know, this was actually supposed to happen in February. We thank you, Ms. Davis, for working with us these past couple of months as COVID was very present. Moving forward, this will remain in February during Black History Month for the Black experience with New Wave. And God willing, the Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Department of Burlington, Vermont will stay active in the movement forward. So thank you all. Please give a round of applause for yourselves.